Alrighty, I think that we're live again. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to part 2 of mixing Hans Hammer from scratch here. Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know who is watching and where you're from. Alright, let's see. We've got Antonio here. We've got Alessandro, and then we have a bunch of delay that you guys are now gonna fail with a lot of messages here. Awesome. Alright, we got Frank here. Good to see you guys. We got Mike here. This is awesome because I want to point out that the group today here is obviously much smaller than it was on Tuesday, which is awesome because as you all know, I don't know if anybody here has watched the entire stream on Tuesday. If you did, please let me know if you checked it all out. But of course, I said like at the end of the stream, I said next time we're just gonna do like volume mixing, or like vocal mixing and automation. And automation is the part that is considered by many to just be boring and it doesn't really do much and it's just like meh, you know. But it's really not. It's like by far the most important part of your mix. It's really gonna create all the life in your mixes here. So the fact that you guys are watching here separates you from the amateurs. So I wanna just call you out on that, right? It's great to see even a smaller group show up here today and learn all about that and just follow me along here as we're doing the boring but crucial things for this mix here. All right, let's check it out. We got Mike here. Awesome. Jesus is here again. What's up, man? Good to see you. Peter is here. Love it. All right, we got Triclops 8. All right, man. Greetings from your neighborhood. Germany. Love it. Awesome. Mike is Florida. Good, good. Lucas is here, of course. All right. Mike checked out the entire live stream. Love it. Let me know any good takeaways that you've had in the last live stream, if anything, of course. Let me know what was if there was any eye-opening moments for you guys here. All right, we got Oku here. Nice. James Tyler, good to see you, man. Alrighty. We got Darren's Music Studio. Hey, what's up, man? Frank is here. That's because the most fun part is already done, which is obviously mixing toms. Yeah, you got that right, man. The toms are the most fun. I think we only delayed that, 2 hours in? Maybe longer? Yeah, they're boring, but they're necessary, right? But yeah, automation, man, it used to be the part where I always thought like, oh, do I really have to sit here and just do all that volume? But now it's like, it's my favorite part, like by far, because it really creates all the life in your mix. And it really starts to sound like a radio-ready track, right? As soon as you got some life and some movement and some energy flow in that song, only then it really starts to kind of convince me that the mix is good, you know? So, yeah, again, separates you guys from the amateurs, which is awesome. All right, let's see. Alessandro is here. He's saying, I suggest you referencing with only Injustice for all songs. Yeah. Yeah, that would be unfair, I'd say, against Justice, right? Oh, awesome. Arcane is saying, watch the entire thing, picked up some golden nuggets. Love it, man. Awesome. Good to hear. First part was great. Let's go part 2. Awesome. Richard here from Slovakia. Very nice. Oh, this is a good takeaway here from Arcane here. Mixing guitars after drums with a huge focus on character and presence. Love that. PPS guy. Awesome, dude. All right, Josh is here. Glad to be back. Glad to have you, Josh. Love it. We got Wicked Blood here. Nice. All right. Yeah, this will totally disappear as soon as you, at least for me, it was like as soon as I really, at a deep level, started to understand what automation is really doing to your mix, then it started to become my favorite thing. So it might just be that you just need to mix more songs, right? And just really get that kind of click of like, oh yeah, without automation, this just sucks. And with automation, I'm doing so much here to influence what I want the listener to pay attention to. And you're really just literally like in control of all of that. So as soon as you really start to grasp that, like at a deep level, then it will most likely become your favorite part as well. So love that. Exactly. This is exactly right. Automation is like playing the mix like an instrument. Yes, absolutely. That is exactly it. And we're going to do just that today, but not yet, because we have a lot of things to still dial in. All right, we got Rob here. What's up, man? We got Jesus here. Excited to see the automation on the song. Heck yeah. Are you guys ready? Should we just jump in to just finish this mix and wrap it up? Awesome, awesome. All right, let's see. Because we still have vocals to do that we still have to start on. But probably first I'm gonna dial in some mix bus stuff because we haven't touched that at all just yet. I probably want to add like a bass synth somewhere, at least in the chorus or something like that, like a stereo bass synth. So we're gonna do some experimenting with that. Let's see what else. We have to do all the automation, of course, all the volume automation, and just create that live in a mix. And I'm thinking we're gonna start with just since it's been 2 days since I've heard this mix, probably have a little bit of objectivity back now. And so we're just gonna jump in, listen to whatever we finished with on Tuesday, and make some quick adjustments, based on the first 20 seconds of listening and of like objective listening that we have. So let's try that. Let's see if we can make some quick decisions. I'll jump into Pro Tools in a second here. All right, Aaron is here, man. Welcome, dude. Just tuning in. Excited to hear the vocal compression and final drum bus. Hell yeah. Sounds good. All right. Let's go, guys. You guys are ready, looks like. So we're just going to jump into the session here. I have not touched this anymore since Tuesday, so I'm just going to hit play, and I'm probably going to be just as surprised as you guys are to see what it sounds like and what we have to do and work on. So here we go. Let's go. I definitely want a little bit more rhythm guitars in the mix here. And I want those to be a little bit beefier even, so just pushing the low mids to the max here. Alrighty, then the second thing that stood out to me was the snare is quite loud. It's kind of separated from the mix almost, because it's just a little bit too far up front, maybe. Okay, I dig it like that, just a little bit better. And then the kick has a little bit of like, what is it, like a 4K kind of annoying-y sound. So let's see if we can smooth that out just a little bit. I like it a little bit better there with a small cut there. So that was the major things for now. Let's see. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with what we've got here. It's most like, there was actually, I forgot to tell you guys this. There was a great comment on the first live stream from somebody. I don't know if that person is here, but he said like, I'm surprised with how much he's mixing in solo. And I thought that was a great insight, because that is definitely true, at least for that first part of this mix, right? As you might remember, all these tracks have been soloed out, and we got some like EQ, compression, whatever we needed to do on these tracks, pretty much in solo, and pretty much just like, as what I kept saying, as like a starting point, right? And then now that we have pretty much all the faders up, now we can really make more like, more concrete and like final decisions about all these things, because now we finally have that context of the full mix that we can work on, right? And so that is maybe not a usual workflow, because most people will just start by creating a fader balance with all faders like fully unprocessed, and then they just start processing things immediately in that context, I guess. To me, that never really made sense, because if I got super dark guitars, for example, and a super boomy bass, then I have no idea what I want my kick to sound like in that context just yet, for example, right? And so I really like to start by just giving everything a little bit of a starting point in solo, kind of cheat my way into that. And now that we have that context and we have all these faders up, now I can be like, okay, so this is pretty much where we're at now. And this is where we need to take it. And with these small adjustments that we just made, we're pretty much where I want it to be right now, which is good. So that means that we can move over to dialing in our mix bus stuff. So let's just bypass all of this and start with my compression, my go-to preset here. It's already doing compression here, so it's probably quite loud. But again, I'm just doing that because the live stream software just gives me a very low signal. So let's see. It's the hard rock punch glue preset, by the way. I've been using this for years. It's my favorite mix bus compression preset. And I really love what that's doing. I don't know if you guys can kind of hear that too, but to me it sounds like it's more a cohesive full mix when the compressor is engaged. And when I bypass it, it sounds like separate instruments that happen to be in the same room at the same time. That's the best way that I can kind of explain that. But this is pretty much already the sweet spot in terms of gain reduction and everything, so we don't even have to change anything here. Let me just quickly A/B that once more for you guys. Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear that too. It's like it just doesn't sound as connected when the compressor is bypassed. So that's one thing. Then the other thing is I really like a little bit of a top end shelf here from this Mag. I don't, how do you guys pronounce this? Is it Mag? Mag? I have absolutely no idea. In Dutch it would be Mag, so I doubt that's the correct way. But I love this 20K or sometimes 10K top end shelf here. So let's just see how far we can push that. Again, the mindset here is just how far can I push things, right? Both in the low end and the top end. We don't need to do a ton here, just adding a little bit of like a top end shelf kind of shine polish to the mix here. These are all things that are kind of like 1%, but if you bypass the entire chain, it's gonna kind of add up eventually. So then the next step is just a little bit of low, low multiband compression. So low end and low mids. Here we go. So I'll just bypass this and just compress the low end on its own just a little bit, because sometimes either the kick or the bass will jump out on certain notes or something like that. And I don't really want that. I just want that low end to kind of stay as consistent as possible so that it's massive everywhere and not just on certain low bass notes or something, right? So let's just see what we need to do here. So this sub-low band, this is mostly reacting to the kick drum, right? So you can see that pumping up and down here. And with the release being quite fast, it's actually bringing up the sub-low end of the bass guitar in between all the kick drum hits. And that's just kind of solidifying that sub-low end just a little bit. It's not doing a ton. I could go without this, but I don't know. It's just, again, one of these 1% things, right? So, and then this area here is very important to me. It's where pretty much all the, all the body, all the definition in the low end is going to come from. It's like the octave above the sub-low end. Crucial range to just get right here. So I'm again just compressing that a little bit and bringing it up. So we're not only getting a little bit more low end, but also just more solid low end. That's just not jumping. The bass guitar just seems to take a little bit of a step forward in the low end here, which is what I'm looking for. And it's just more stable, more consistent, right? So a lot of benefits here from a simple thing here. Let's go with this. We don't even need to EQ anything here. It's just on here in case I want to do something, but right now I just don't. Let's see, and I think now we're pretty much done here with the mix bus chain. So they're all fairly subtle, but yeah, when you bypass all three plugins, there's a pretty noticeable difference there for sure. Let's see, let's catch up on the chat here. All right, let's see you guys. Best YouTube video ever. Love that, man. Super sick. All right, this is awesome. Basically used every step from the last video for all the songs I'm working on right now. Love that. I would love to hear how that turns out, man. So if you happen to be in the BSA community, please let us know how that goes. And if not, join the community, man. We want you in there for sure. All right, love it, love it. Yeah, well, I guess we're still working on a static mix here, because static in my mind means there's no automation yet. But yeah, I struggle working in a fully unprocessed mix, if that makes sense. So that's why I kind of get that starting point going, right? With all these tracks on their own level, and then, yeah, and then just work from there, I guess. All right, let me see. We can't see the full mix chain. Do you have a clipper or anything else at the end for loudness? I'll show you here. Oh yeah, you can't even see that. Let me move my camera down. Here we go. So I've got a clipper. Yes, it's bypassed. I've got a limiter. Yes, and it's bypassed. So there's nothing else happening on the... That's the print track, by the way, that we're looking at now. So there's nothing else happening there. The clipping is mostly just if I want to, get it louder and send it out to a client or something. Or if I'm self-mastering or something, I will just crank up the clipping until it's pulpy, and then we have a loud mix. All right, let's see. We got a good mix now. We got a good instrumental. I'd say right now would be a good time to bring in a little bass synth, and I'm probably just gonna get this. This is probably a sine wave, so I'm hopefully Pro Tools is gonna do a good job getting us some MIDI here. It looks like it did a decent job, which I'm impressed by. It never really does a good job, but this is fine. I like to go. I found a new preset. For those of you that have been in the hardcore music studio community, you know that I've been using the ANA synth with a couple presets there. I've actually found a new favorite bass preset in Serum, and it's one from Serum 1, and it's this one. It's classic but more. And let me route it to the mix bus so you guys can hear it. Classic but more preset. Let me see if this works here. Yeah, okay, so it might be going an octave higher actually, because it's quite low now. But yeah, it's a very like techno kind of bass synth, I guess. But it seems to be working really well in combination with a bass guitar. So yeah, it's at B0, so let's probably move that to B. Yeah, that's too low. That's way too low. We need that an octave higher. Well, there's no definition here, right? So, B1. Here we go. And I probably just want to have it kind of pulsing. So more like that. It's not perfect yet. What I don't like about Pro Tools capturing MIDI for me is that it never really does a good job like quantizing it or whatever. So where is it? Here we go. I want this up. Here we go. So I always kind of do that afterwards myself. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of that. Okay, now we got some... Yeah, it looks like I just have to dive in by hand. I already regret relying on Pro Tools to draw the MIDI for me, because now I have to dive in and everything. Alright, so this should be good. This is just I'm just looking for more low end, right? So, and just kind of filling out the low end that the bass guitar is maybe lacking, or just making it, extreme and just pushing things to 11, which is really the mindset here. These can just go. I'll just copy these ones over. G. Here we go. And then with the bass guitar. We don't even need that to be super audible. We just need to fill out the low end just a little bit. And then we can just copy that over, I think. And I'm just gonna make all of them loud. Yeah, it's not even doing that much, as you can hear. It's just kind of filling out that low end just a little bit. And I might even kind of get rid of a little bit of that that whistle sound that we have going on here. This one, right? This. And then, of course, some escalation so that we get a little bit more low mids. That is a nice low end right there. Alright, and then this one can go. And then it goes down to C. That's it, and then we just need this in the choruses. So I'm just gonna copy this over to the choruses, which would be over here. And another one over here. Alright, very cool. Let's see, we're probably okay here with that low end. And see, it's not like you're gonna like miss it a lot when you don't have this, but it's just yet another one of these 1% things that just pushes your mix from like, okay, it's cool, to like, whoa, we're pushing everything to the max here. Very, very cool. So, love that. Oh yeah, please remove the question. Absolutely. Here we go. Bye-bye, Arcane. Love that. Okay, so that's a bass, synth bass, I guess. Are there any questions about the bass synth specifically? Let me see here. Lucas, for example, how did you convert the audio to the MIDI for any track? Yes, you can do that, but it's never going to be accurate, I guess. But it's simple, man. You just grab any audio and you drag it onto a MIDI track like that, and then you can pick how you want Pro Tools to capture the MIDI for that. I think it's using Melodyne for that. But yeah, in this case, this synth happens to be a sine wave, so it's super easy to recognize what note it is, right? But if it's a little bit more of a complicated synth that's playing chords and everything, then Pro Tools usually does a very, what's the polite word, just mediocre job at recognizing the MIDI and where the note starts and ends and all that stuff. So, hopefully that makes sense. All right. Let's continue now. We have some bass synth. Let's move over to vocals. The other main thing that we still have to do are vocals. So let's see, we got a lot of vocals here. The yellow stuff, the bright yellow stuff, that is usually my lead vocals. And then the darker yellow stuff is backing vocals. And then the orange stuff is more like vocal effects, and it goes for that stuff too. This is more bridge, and then we have even more vocal effects over here. So there's a lot of vocals here that need treatment. So let's just get started. And again, I'm just gonna start in solo with this one. I got this. Let's see why we don't have any audio yet. I got this, girl. It's going straight to the oh, here we go. This should be good. I got this, girl. Interesting. Let's see. Alright, let's start. The first plugin in the chain for me is usually a distressor if it's not been compressed on the way in. But it looks like these are actually a little bit compressed on the way in, but I don't care. I just like that little bit of character from the distressor first up in the chain. Attack between 4 and 5. Release between 3 and 2, and then ratio 6:1. I got this girl, she's so mine, at least until my money runs. And I want to do kind of up to 10 or 12 dB of gain reduction, and that usually gives you a vocal that is very consistent in volume, which I like to do that part before throwing it into an EQ, so that your EQ is also kind of, consistent, I guess. So that's my thinking there. Then, of course, SSL channel here from Brainworks in this case. We're gonna crank up some 8K high shelf.
I got this girl, she's so mine.
Probably is gonna max it out and then kind of compensate, because now the vocal is gonna be too bright, and now I'm just gonna boost mid-range as far as I need to do to make it not bright, right? So, but I definitely want to have a lot of top end on the vocal, because as you might know, high frequencies die first over distance, right? Like I said in Tuesday's live stream as well, when it came to mixing snares. And so when a sound has a lot of high frequencies, our brain will kind of conceive that as like, that sound must be close to us, because the high frequencies haven't died yet over the distance. So a lot of high frequencies, and then just compensating for that with a lot of mid-range boosts as well, so that we don't end up with a super thin vocal. So let's see what we need to do here.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry.
It's getting loud for sure, so let's maybe get the output down a little bit.
I got this girl, she's so mine.
Look who's in the chat, guys. We got Hans himself here. Awesome. The guy that we're hearing right here is in the chat. Love it. Good to see you, Hans.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry.
All right, so that is a starting point there. I'm not sure if I want to max out the 8K, because it does get a little bit too bright, maybe.
I got this girl, she's so mine.
We might have to kind of check that once we put it in context of the full mix. Let's see, then I want a little bit of escalator, a little bit of saturation and character here.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry.
I'm not afraid to push that kind of far as well, till you get a little bit of like a rough edge around the vocal sound here.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least.
Oh, Hans is actually jumping in. This is awesome. On the first, there were some questions about whether it's real amps or amp sims or whatever in the first stream. So let's see, use the Trivium amp knob from Bogren Digital. The drums are real drums. Here we go. That confirms things. Love it. Awesome. There was a little bit of 76 compression on the way in already. Nice. And now we just distressed them, EQ'd them, we put escalator on them, and now I'm just going to compress them even more with the CLA 76 by Waves. I like the bluey mode, and I like attack up the center, and I like release all the way at the fastest, and then I'm doing a lot of gain reduction here.
I got this girl, she's so mine.
That's pretty much perfect immediately, because I really want that needle to hit close to minus 20 dB, so that it really, it just conveys a lot of character on these vocals. Like the start of the words sounds a little bit more aggressive instead of like, I've got this. It sounds more, I've got this. Like it's like a little bit more edgy, right? So
I got this girl, she's.
Especially that first I just sounds so much more aggressive.
I got this girl.
And without,
I got this girl, she's
it's
so
a little louder
mine.
actually, so that's not very fair, but hopefully.
I got this girl, she's so mine.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear that too. Just listen to the compression itself, right? It's just a little bit of like a nice kind of attacky kind of start on that word there.
I got this girl, she.
Very nice. Then we got de-essing is very necessary here. So DSR.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry.
Alright, that seems to be just perfect already.
Until my money runs dry.
Without.
Until my money runs dry.
Yeah, okay, so de-essing. And that immediately makes me want to crank this 8K high shelf up again, because now the S and T sounds are not bugging me anymore.
I got this girl, she's so mine.
And I'm thinking I probably want to have even more of this, but it's maxed out, so we can't. So let's see. Let's copy these over to the second layer, because we got 2 layers of vocals here. I'm not doing that correctly, am I? No, I'm not. Okay, so we need this one over here. And there we go. Okay, so, and now we have 2 vocals, and I like to kind of just kind of blend these together. I'm not gonna pan these out because to me, panned out lead vocals are like the most confusing thing to listen to ever. I really don't like it when it's both of them like this or something. Like
I got this girl and she's
that's not a lead vocal. That just sounds like backing vocals to me. So I like that upfront, in your face, like star of the mix kind of vibe for the vocals here. So right down the center, and then this other one is just gonna be like a couple dB lower.
I got this girl and she's so mine, at least until my money runs.
It just sounds a little bit more, I guess, fuller, you know?
I got this girl and she's so mine, at least until my money runs dry.
Very cool. Hans, do you happen to remember actually what microphone you used on this vocal? That would be cool to know as well. If you're still here, of course. Awesome. Love it. Alessandro is asking why a high-pass filter at 120. I think you're losing some chest vibrations. I don't agree, because there's nothing else, nothing happening in in our chest at 100 hertz, and in the sub-low end, absolutely nothing that is musically relevant at all. So I could even go higher, man. 150, no problem.
I got this girl and she's so mine.
And it's still the exact same vocal to me. So no, I'm absolutely happy to go 120 or higher for sure. All right, let's copy this over to vocal 2, which is basically just an extra track here, but it's the same vocal, so I'm just going to treat it the exact same. And just copy these plugins over, and the volume settings as well. And then I just want to crank up a little bit of delay on, let me see, probably on the lead one. Let me see, let's actually just match the volume first, -6.6. And then over here, I'm probably gonna, let's just create a new delay here, because I don't usually have this type of delay in my mixing template, because what I want to have is a cool slap delay. But again, I don't have that in my template. So let's pick a bus 1, 2. This one gets input, bus 1, 2. Oh, bus 1, obviously, because it's a mono one. Duh. Bus 1, here we go. And then we're gonna have delays on there with our slap presets.
I got this girl and she.
That's pretty much perfect. I wanted some drive on there.
I got this girl and she.
And I want to cut some high and low end.
I got this girl and she's so mine, at least until.
And then of course I want more slap delay. No, I'm kidding. I want less.
I got this girl and she's so mine, at least until my money runs dry.
Something like that maybe. I just want to have a little bit of like an edge to that.
I got this girl.
And since we have the drive here on the delays plugin, I just like that it's not just a slap delay, but it's also another thing that just gives you a little bit of an edge here.
I got this girl and she's so mine.
And then I'm going to copy that over to the second one. And then we're just going to see for the first time now what it sounds like in the full mix. See if we have to make any adjustments here.
I got this girl and she's so mine, at least until my money runs dry. She's so.
I definitely want these guitars a little lower in volume here. So let's do that first. And then the vocal can come down in volume a little bit as well. And we can definitely get less slap delay on there. And I'll copy that over to this one. And then we're just going to have our regular Black Salt Audio delay on there as well. Our regular vocal pocket, I should say. So let's build that. Vocal pocket delay is just gonna be good old vocal pocket delay, obviously. I'll just mute the slap delay for a second here, see what the vocal pocket sounds on its own.
I got this girl.
So it's just a stereo kind of delay. One repetition. I don't even want feedback there.
I got this girl, she's so mine. I got this girl, she's so mine, at least until my money runs dry.
So maybe like that, -20. Just very low in the mix. I don't even want the delay repetitions to be audible, like you can put your finger on them. I just want there to be a little bit of like a stereo kind of feeling to that vocal.
I got this girl, she's so.
So just like that. And then I'm just gonna copy these over to the other tracks here.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my mind.
And now in context of the full mix, I feel like the vocal is missing some body, so we probably have to do more boosting here.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry.
Let's see what that sounds like when we copy that over.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry. She's all I ever wanted. She's all I ever.
Yeah, and I keep feeling like we have a little bit too much of the slap delay, so let's just lower that even a bit more.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs.
And believe it or not, I want these vocals a little bit brighter still, even though we have already maxed out on the 8K shelf, I think. Yes, we did. But I still feel like with the full mix going on, I just want a little bit more of that top end shine there. So oxygen, air mode. Let's see what we can do with it.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry. She's all I ever wanted. She's all I ever feared. Not exactly God's.
There goes my CPU. Okay, let's try again.
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry. She's all I ever wanted. She's all I.
It is very, very subtle. But I just want that little bit of like 10K and above kind of polish, right? So
I got this girl, she's so mine. At least until my money runs dry. She's all I.
I really dig that. It just gives the vocal a little bit more of a step forward here. So,
Not exactly God's finest work.
but I might have to DS them a little bit harder.
Not exactly God's finest work, but she's a.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get away with that amount of top end on the S and T sounds.
Not exactly God's finest work, but she's a very likable girl. She's angelic to the eye. She's evil in disguise.
Awesome. All right. So let's see. We got a lot of things happening here suddenly. Yeah, probably gonna lower these clean guitars a little bit just in general, because I don't want the pre-chorus to become louder than the verse. I want that to be a little bit of a dip in energy so that the chorus is gonna be, you know, twice as heavy and big afterwards. So
Evil in disguise.
a little bit less guitars and less of these synths, which I don't remember if I grouped these already. Pre-chorus synth. So we can lower them all at once here.
Evil in disguise.
Alright, cool. Then we have this cool vocal effect here, which will immediately kind of blend in here. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, so we can just lower the volume of that. We don't have to process this one. Very cool. That seems to be okay.
She's evil in disguise.
Alright, very cool. Okay, then we have these two vocals over here. Kind of announcing the chorus, I guess. I think in the original mix I made them kind of lo-fi, so probably want to do that here today as well. So let's compress them a little bit first. Again, I can actually copy the distressor. I don't even know why I am dialing that in from scratch again. So again, I'm just looking for consistency here.
With a smile she seduces me.
Yeah, I don't want it to jump around in volume. And then we're just gonna throw good old Tello-Fi on there.
With a smile she seduces me.
Little bit slap here.
With a smile she seduces me.
And I'll copy that over. Here we go.
With a smile she seduces me.
The charging confuses me.
Oh, and I want those to be, at least the second one, I want that one to be a little bit more wet or something. So let's throw on a little touch of delays here. And go ping pong. Yes, and then a touch of reverb.
With the charging confuses me.
Maybe even more.
With the charging confuses.
Okay, let's try that again.
With the charging confuses me.
Alright, let's hear this in action.
With the smudgy seduces me.
Uh-oh. Now you have to, Hans. No, I'm totally kidding. I have no idea what it's about. Alright, the microphone he used was this one. The one that, another word that I cannot pronounce, so I'm not even gonna try, but you guys can read, right? So it's a fat mic. The Soyuz. Okay, I tried it. Cool. Alright. Yeah, so it's not a hard duplication. It's like literally a separate take. So it's 2 takes. He recorded it twice. All right, let's see. Cool. Okay, cool. Good comments here. I think I actually did, yes. But I just want to show you these from scratch, right? Like, how would I build these if I didn't import these? What are the delay settings, that kind of stuff. So I'm just giving you a little extra explanation here. All right, let's continue. Vocal mixing here. This seems to be a good introduction to the chorus here, and then we should probably work on our chorus vocals next. And actually, I'm still not very stoked on what this section is sounding like right now. Those are fine. But I want more of perhaps this one? Well, let's keep it for now, and let's see if we want to change more about the pre-chorus here when we get into automation. No, I start to think that lowering the synths was just not the right decision here. Alright, that seems cool. Then we go to our chorus vocals, and first I'm gonna mute these extra layers that we have here. And I'm just going to work on the lead vocal for the chorus, because we haven't mixed that one yet. So I'm thinking a starting point is just going to be to duplicate all the plugins again that we have on the verse lead. And I'm not going to duplicate the slap delay, of course. I'm just going to have the vocal pocket on there. And I'm going to have another one, which is my infamous del verb. In case you haven't seen it yet, this is my favorite kind of vocal delay here, and I'll show you because I actually made a preset of it, of course, in the Neil BSA Delays plugin. So it's just del verb. Here we go. And it used to be a thing that I did, like before we had this plugin, I used to have a separate delay plugin first, and then I would send that send into another send into another aux that had some delay on it, and then it had EQ afterwards and all that stuff. So when we were developing this plugin, I actually brought it up to John, like, can you like make reverb into this plugin as well? Can we do that? And yeah, we did it, right? So, and now we can have that del verb all in one plugin, which is very convenient. I think I still have to route these actually to the vocal bus here. So let's do that really quickly. Here we go. And let's see how much of our del verb we actually want here. I want more low end in the del verb. Less drive. And of course, just less.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt.
Let's start with that. It sounds like a lot in solo, but as soon as we bring all the guitars, the drums, everything else in, the reverbs and the room sounds and all that stuff is the first stuff that's gonna disappear. So we'll probably have to raise this. Alright, very cool. And other than that, I just want that lead, or sorry, the chorus vocal to have just a little bit more body. And what is it? Well, I guess just body is the only right word here. Then the verse vocals, so that it just stands out even a bit more, right? Just because the vocal is a little bit bigger. So
She's all I want. Could I ever ask her more?
I'm gonna boost everything that is not the top end just a little bit more here. So a super wide bell boost there.
She's all I want.
And then we can lower the del verb a little bit.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask her more? I never felt this way before.
And the volume can go down just a touch, because
She's all I want.
that's okay for now. Then we're gonna bring in all these extra layers here. We're gonna make a nice choir of Hanses over here. And then we probably have to adjust the volume a little bit depending on how loud it's gonna get with all these extra vocals here. So let's start with this one.
She's all.
Just a good old double, which is great. So I'm just gonna copy over the processing again as a starting point. And the trick that I'm gonna use again here is just having less top end on my backing vocal is gonna automatically push them a little bit further back into the mix. So again, we're just building a nice kind of front to back image here, right? So not gonna max out the 8K on this one.
She's all I want.
Gonna focus them more on the presence area a little bit. So less of this, but more of this.
She's all I want.
And then if we put that behind the lead vocal here,
She's all I want. Could I ever ask her more? I never felt this way.
this is so good. What I want you guys to notice is that it's not only kind of giving the lead vocal just a bunch of stereo width and just more body and power, but it's also giving it depth in terms of like these backing vocals sit a little bit further to the background, right? So
She's all I want.
suddenly it's like a triangle. The lead vocal is all the way up here, like right in our face, and then there's vocals over there as well, right? Creating a nice kind of triangle of vocals here. I love this stuff. I hope you guys dig this too, because this is one of my favorite things here about Vocal Mixer, right? It's creating these like front to back images. So cool.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask her more? I never felt this.
That's really cool. Then we have another layer here that is called low. So let's see what that's all about.
She's all I want. Could I ever?
So that's just literally just a lower layer. I'm going to copy over the backing vocal processing. Just like that, including the delay sends. And let's see, because it might get a little too boomy or too, as if there's too much of that chest frequency going on now. So probably have to get rid of a little bit of that.
She's all I.
Yeah, let's just layer them first and kind of balance them out.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask her more? I never felt this way before.
And I don't even think we have to adjust the EQ here.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask her more?
Yeah, I don't think it's getting boomy at all, so we're lucky here. But sometimes you have to take out a little bit of 400 or maybe 300, depending on how low the vocal is, the voice is, right? But luckily, now it's perfectly fine, I'd say. Then we have two more harmonies.
She's all I.
One down the center here, and then this one.
She's all I
I guess that's just another kind of layer here.
She's
Yeah, he's in the same range as the lead one. So again, probably just gonna copy over all of our backing vocal plugins. Oh, vocal mixing is so much fun, right? Just copying plugins all over the place on all these channels. All right, and then these delays as well, and then we can just balance them out. Lead vocal, stereo vocals, this one, and let's start with this one, whatever this is.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
Yeah, just giving the lead vocal just a little bit more power.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask?
It's another of these 1% things, so that's quite cool. Let's see. Then we have this other layer.
She's all I
Yeah, so that is a lower one.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
Let's see what this sounds like in the full mix.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
All right, this is awesome because now that we have vocals in and we truly have all the context that we need, suddenly I hear a problem. I hear something in the bass that I want to fix, which is something that hasn't occurred to me yet. But now that we have all the vocals in and we really have a full song here, it's like, whoa, actually, the bass is eating up a little bit too much space in the lower mids here.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
And there we go. It was a little bit too much 200 there, and now it is fixed. So that's always so amazing to me as well. Like as soon as you have more context, other things are gonna stand out. And so I really want to use that to my advantage, right? And like I said before, just build that static mix, that full mix of like the full band as quickly as I can in 1 hour, if that. Of course, when I'm explaining everything, it's gonna take twice as long. But when I'm just mixing for clients, that whole session of this past Tuesday in real time, that will be a 1 hour thing or something. And then we get in the vocals, and then we have all the context, and then we can really make some adjustments and kind of fine tweak and kind of really finally kind of realize how things are working together in context of the full mix, make adjustments, all these things. So
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
just lowering the bass a bit in volume as well.
She's all I want.
Maybe even a tiny bit less of that sub low end on the kick here.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more?
Okay, and then there's one more frequency that I want to boost on bass here.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way.
Yeah, so 140. So that was a little bit too much, 200, but not enough 140, 150. And that's an area that I usually boost a little bit because this is going to glue your bass guitar to your rhythm guitars, and that's what's going to make them work together to really make that kind of wall of sound idea there, right? So small boost, only not even 2 dB, but it's crucial here.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
The bass is just disconnected from the rhythm guitars without that boost, so very small but very significant. Let's catch up on the chat with you guys. How are you guys still doing here? All right, let's see. Here we go. Do you leave the SSL expander engaged on purpose, or do you just forget to turn it off? I never touch that thing, man. I don't even look at it. It's just a gate, right? So it's not going to hurt my signal whatsoever. So let's see. Here we go. Alessandro saying, I never go past 80 hertz on the lead vocals, 120 or more for harmonies. That's totally cool, man. Feel free to do you, because exactly these kind of differences in you and my mixing approach is gonna make your sound, right? It's gonna make you sound differently from me, and it's also what makes CLA sound very different from Zach Cervini. All these little details, right? So I encourage you to develop your taste in those kind of things. So love that. Really, really good. All right, let's see. Here we go. I'd also use a dynamic EQ on the vocal bus because the high mid-range is kind of jumping out on some words. Another thing that's going to separate you from me, which is great, man. Love it. All right, so far so good. You guys are all great here. Nice. Let's continue then. And let's see if we want to rebalance some chorus vocals here. I'm thinking I want those extra layers to come down just a touch.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt.
But I want these lower ones to come up a little bit.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before. She's all I fear. With a smile she seduces me. With her charge she
Yeah, kind of like that. So you don't really want to hear them on their own. Like, oh, there's obviously a harmony there. But it's like, if we mute them now, you're really going to miss them.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
Just adding a nice kind of harmony to it, which is obviously the goal of harmony. So very cool. Let's see, what is this one about? Right, that's the ending of the chorus. I don't think I did much processing to that one in the actual mix for this one, except for just a healthy amount of reverb, delay, that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Okay, that's cool. And then let's balance this out.
God, she confuses me.
And we have another one over here, like a vocal tail. Probably just gonna, let's see, probably make this a little bit more lo-fi. And compress it, because it's going all over the place, but I want that to be more stable. There's a question from Ravidzoni. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. What about ducking, reverb, and delay on vocals with a sidechain after the delay? I can't think of one single instance that I've ever done that or felt the need to do that. It seems to be a very popular thing. And I've heard about it for sure, and I know what it's doing. It's kind of like ducking the vocal when it's singing, and then as soon as the vocal stops, you bring up the... That to me defeats the point of doing reverb or delay on vocals in the first place, right? Because I want that space to constantly be there. And if I feel the need to duck, then I just lower the send a little bit, right? And just take the easy route there. And not make things complicated with side chaining for no good reason, at least in my mind, right? It's like, there's no good reason to make this complicated. I can just lower the send if I feel like the reverb is making my vocal messy. So that's been my approach there. Here's another great question here. David is saying, you're copying a lot of the same plugins. Is there any value in group processing instead of individual tracks? A value, well, it's a different approach. Because like a compressor is going to react quite differently to a group of vocal tracks than it is going to react to a single vocal track, right? And in the case of vocals, I kind of like that it's kind of individually processing all these vocals first. And then if I still feel like I need to process the group, then I can do that because I have all these buses set up. But no, I like how compressors and EQs react to individual vocals just a little bit more. But is this one of those things that is going to make or break your mix, or is going to be the difference between a professional mix and a complete amateur mix? I wouldn't say so, but it's just a personal preference thing, I'd say. So, good question, though. I love that. All right, let's see. Aaron, what is the difference between a distressor and a compressor? They're the same thing. Distressor is just a brand, I'd say, like a one type of compressor. But it is a compressor. That's like saying, what is the difference between a BMW and a car? It's like, no, a BMW is a car. It's like a distressor is a compressor. So it's just a brand name, which is poorly chosen because it is confusing. So yeah, that's not just you. Yep. Alessandro is saying the same thing. Love that. Okay, so let's go back to mixing. Let's go compress some vocals here. That seems to be good. And now I want to drown it in reverbs. And I want big reverbs without a lot of low end. Even less. Alright, let's see. I'm not quite happy yet. That's more like it. So it just needs less volume. Just needed to. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Maybe even a bit more size again then. Yeah, I just don't want this one to take up a ton of attention here. Alright, now we're going back into the verse, and now with the vocal in, I want even less of that heavy guitar and more focus on the funky one. But even the funky one can come down in volume just a touch here. But I'm quite happy with that and how that's sounding. That's really cool. Verse 2, we don't need to adjust the vocals that much because it just, yeah, you can see it's the same thing. Same thing for the choruses here. We do have extra ending vocals here that we have to check out. Okay, I'm probably just gonna copy this line over to this channel so that it's getting the same processing here. So that's just more of like a lead vocal to me, like a chorus lead vocal. So makes sense to just process it the same as the other chorus leads. And we can just keep this one over here. It's totally fine if it's there. And this one is, it's okay to keep that on the verse channel, which is slightly less loud because there's still this other scream going on, right? So. God, she confuses me. To me, that sounds totally fine. To keep them pretty much as is right there. And let's see, then we have more bridgey vocals. What is this? Let's see. Oh, right, these are the extra kind of ambient vocals in the chorus 2 and 3, I think. Let's see. Yes, very cool. So, for starting point, I'm going to copy over more plugins. Like I said, guys, this is the fun, the fun part of mixing. Copying over vocal mix plugins. And then probably drown them in reverb as well, so that they kind of sit back. First up, just good old vocal pocket. Okay, and then this one as well. And then the del verb send as well. But I want that del verb to be super overboard. Alright, and then we're gonna group these so that I can change their volume at the same time. Female A. Oops, I need to lower this one first. And there we go. Okay. And now let's balance this out in the full mix. I'm not too happy yet. I feel like there is too much low end and not enough mid-range just yet. So too much low end and not enough presence and mid-range. And now we fix that. Let's see what it sounds like now. Okay, that's better. Now it kind of sits more kind of behind the lead vocal. You can still hear it. You can't really put your finger on it, which is exactly what I want. I just want that to be kind of, ear candy stuff that's way further to the background, right?
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I've never felt this way before.
That is totally fine to keep them quite low like that. I love that. Let's see what else we got here. We got another cool vocal effect, it seems like. Oh yeah, that's the same one as in the first one. That's totally fine. Then we got another delay throw over here. Let's check out where that's coming from. You don't even have to change that, just gain it up a little bit. Totally cool. Let's see what this one. This is probably that same line. Yeah, but with a cool effect on it, so we can just balance it, and that's fine. Probably even lower the actual lead vocals a little bit while that vocal comes in. I let this cool processed one take over. Yeah, that's cool. We don't even have to change a lot there. That's totally fine. Let's see. I think we've had all of these channels over here, the orange ones. So now we can go to the dark orange ones, which... oh, these are the chorus, like, in between vocals. Okay, so this will be an example of vocals that I would love to treat as like a group, because I kind of like the sum of this, right? And I'm obviously not going to compress them, right? We don't need that. So I think I'm just going to route these to a new bus here and call these na na na, because that's what they are. And then we're going to route this to the backing vocal bus. Backing screams, which is this one. It's not screams, but whatever. And now I'm just going to EQ this. We don't need that much low end at all. And we need a ton more just cut through frequencies. So anything between 1 to 5K or something. Not that much. Let's see. And then over here. It's getting quite loud, so apologies for that. Let's see how that will cut through here. It's kind of honky. I don't like it yet. I still want them a bit, you know, brighter, kind of less body. I just want that na 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 to kind of cut through here. Alright, let's see. I think that's okay, but like there's kind of like a big contrast between the actual vocals that we have going on in the mix versus these na 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 ones, right? Yeah, maybe it's fine because it's you know, it's kind of meant to stand out a little bit, but kind of more like that, but then lower the volume a little bit. That's more like it. So still too much body and not enough mid-range there, so just cranking that up even more. Here's Evan. He said, explain to us amateur mixes the routings you're making to FX or buses and why. Check out the replay, man, of the first stream, because I go in depth about all the routing pretty much in the first one. I don't know if you saw that one, or if you need any more specific things explained. But yeah, I'm doing most of the explanation in there, but it's kind of simple. You can kind of, so this is just your regular output for your channel. So this one is going to the bus called na 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 na. And this is where that bus is. So this is where that track is going to end up. And then this one is being sent into the backing screams one, which is where all the backing vocals end up, which is this one. And then this one is being sent to the all vocals bus, which will end up all the way down here. And so it just gives me multiple places where I can adjust the volume for all these individual things. And then all the way at the end of the session, I just have music and vocals. And so I can just, adjust the balance between the music and the vocals quite easily right there, right? So but check out the replay, man, for the first live stream. And then I go in depth there. So let's continue. Let's check out, we have these vocals fixed. Let's check out what they sound like in the outro here. They sound fine, but I want a little bit more emphasis on the synth here. Yeah, that one, the techie techno synth. That is actually for Hans as well. That is the one thing I regret for the original mix for this song, is that I wish I would have pushed that particular synth track up in volume just a little bit. It's just so cool, right? So that's the one thing I kind of was like, when I listen to the song now, right? I was like, I wish I had that synth up a little bit. So yeah, just to kind of, make that kind of big finale thing happening at the end there. So that's the one thing that Hans didn't even know, I think. So there you go, dude. Okay, let's continue. We got a little bit more orange vocals left. And then we're going to go down into our automation rabbit hole. So we got bridge vocals first. Oh yeah, these are cool, but I kind of want them more lo-fi-ish. But not super lo-fi. Again, just more presence, I guess. Pretty much like that, but yeah, maybe even less... There we go. And what is this? Okay, this is reverb, I guess, for this one. So yeah, I can just balance these out with this reverb channel quite low. Okay, pretty cool. Then, I think that's fine for now. Let's see. Yeah, maybe have these a little brighter still, though. I like that. That seems to be okay. Now we have these two over here. Let's see what this is. Okay, so this is bridge main, so I like that to be on top. Okay, so the higher one is the main one. I'm probably just gonna copy over the verse vocal channel processing. More copying. So let's bring the channel down so it's easy. Here we go. See what this will sound like. Oh, I don't need the slap delay. Bye-bye. And let's bring this channel back where it belongs, which is here. Let's see how this sounds like on the bridge vocal. Actually, I do want the slap, because it's cool. Just that I just had an edge to it, and I want to kind of emphasize that edge.
I tried, but I couldn't find.
Mute these quiets for now. Let's just focus on this one.
I tried.
Yeah, and just copy this over to the harmony as well, including the slap delay, and then just balance them out.
I tried, but I couldn't find.
Okay, and then we have the choir here. He couldn't find. Let's see.
He couldn't fight.
A low one. What else is this?
He couldn't fight.
That to me seems the lead one, I guess, for this little choir. So I'm just gonna copy over the backing vocal processing. Surprise, surprise. Let's bring a channel down actually again. And I'm just gonna copy that over to all of these channels. And then we'll see what this sounds like.
He couldn't fight.
Pretty much as expected, so that's good.
I tried, but I couldn't find.
I do want them brighter and a little bit more lo-fi-ish. So less low end and more, I guess more high frequencies, more top end.
He couldn't find.
Let's try that. Yeah, so I don't really want those to be like massive, huge. I just want them to be a little lo-fi-ish. I want them to be, I don't know, just smaller, if that makes any sense. And let's copy them over to the other channels. And it will, again, just gives us a starting point from which we can work. And that's another thing that I really like to do, right? With these just copying over stuff, and it's like, how do you know it's gonna work, and why do you copy so much? And these are kind of like common questions I get. And it's like, I copy a lot of these things here simply just to give me a starting point ASAP that sounds mixed, right? That sounds at least in the ballpark, and that will immediately spark something in me of like, yeah, just a little bit more lo-fi, but at least with that, you know, somewhat processed, somewhat mixed sound, you just kind of allow you to get in that creative flow a lot more, instead of just being focused on like, oh, I have to dial in a new distressor and a new escalator and a new SSL channel individually on every single channel, right? So you're constantly working on that tech stuff, which is not interesting at all. At least not to me, right? I just want to have a starting point ASAP. So copy, 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 paste, boom, starting point, and then spark a new idea and immediately get into that creative flow. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's why you see me copying as much of these things as possible, just to shortcut it, right? So
He couldn't
okay, this female is definitely too bright,
He couldn't find.
so we don't need that 8K there.
He couldn't find.
And then we have this lower one.
He couldn't fight.
He couldn't find.
And let's group these again. Let's call it he couldn't find. So let's call him find.
He couldn't.
Let's put him in the full mix, and then we can kind of balance that out in the full mix.
I tried, but I couldn't find. I tried, but I couldn't find. She's all
And then straight back into the chorus. Very cool. Okay.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more?
Probably want these backing vocals. Actually, let me put this channel back where it belongs. Can probably have these backing vocals just a little louder in all choruses.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before. She's all I fear. With a smile she seduces me. I never felt this way before. She's all I fear. With a
I love how those female vocals kind of creeped up on me again, right? It's like I wasn't expecting them, but you can still kind of hear them. You can hear that there's something going on in the background. That's cool, but
She's all I fear.
don't distract, right? So that's really cool. I really like those. Maybe lower them even a little bit more, half a dB more. But now we have pretty much mixed all vocals, and we got pretty much everything the way I kind of like it to sound. So this will be a great point to kind of do a light bit of referencing against something that I like. See where we're at, especially in the low end a little bit and the vocal levels, etc. That kind of stuff. That's what I'm going to be listening for. And then after that, we're just going to do automation. Guys, is this all making sense? All the vocal mixing, all that stuff, the balancing that you've seen me do in the previous live stream, all these things, is that all kind of making sense to you guys? Please drop any questions that come up at any time in the chat, if not. Let's see. Oh, Hans is probably not here anymore, so that's totally cool. Otherwise, this question by Alessandra would have been answered. Let's see. I'm not a Pro Tools user, but I think there's a hotkey for plugins chain group copy, isn't it? No idea, man. I just been doing it like this for years now, so I don't know. I'm totally cool to take a little bit of time there. All right, here's a question from Martin. Jordan does less processing on the stereo double backing vocals compared with the lead. You copy all of the lead to the backing vocals. Do you have a special reason for that? Yes, like I said just earlier, right? Because I just want that starting point ASAP without having to think, without having to go back into technical thinking of like, oh, this is different, so I have to do this differently, yada, yada, yada. I just copy over the entire chain, which works perfectly on a lead vocal, so it should work perfectly on a backing vocal. At least to give you that like polished, radio ready kind of vocal sound. And then as soon as it sounds like that and I hit play, that's when creative flow starts to happen, right? It's like, oh yeah, now they're a little bit too bright, but at least I get the point. And at least now I can hear with that context that I've just created for myself. I can kind of, almost force myself to kind of have an idea there of like, oh, okay, so I need those slightly more to the background. So dial back some top end, push them a little bit back, maybe a touch more reverb, maybe even drier so that they become more intimate, whatever comes up, right? But yeah, that's the reason, man. Just speed is everything. The faster you can get to this point of your mix, which by now we're 1 hour 20. So the last live stream was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then we have an extra 1 hour and 20 minutes, so we're 3 hours and 40 minutes in, and it's sounding like this. And now we have a bunch of time left where you can fine-tune, fine-tweak, and make final decisions about all these things that we've done, and of course do automation. But speed is so important, and not like force things and go like hasty or something, but just like get to this point where you have that, the most amount of context as soon as you can, and then again, you can take a little bit more time to just do some fine tweaking and adjustments and do your automation and stuff like that. So that's why it's just speed and staying creative instead of technical. I hope that makes sense. So if all of that makes sense, then I think we're good to just continue and just hit play from pretty much the start of the song. See if we're kind of happy with the balance that we have pretty much everywhere. Make any adjustments. And right from the start, I want to make an adjustment because those funky guitars sound a little bit too, like, too mid-rangey, too bright-ish. And I want them a little bit louder. Maybe even have them a little bit more full sounding. So lower the... More kind of like that. So less high. More mid-rangey. I do think that the vocal has a little bit too much slap delay now.
I got this girl, she's so mine, at least don't do.
Even a little bit less, and a little bit less of the stereo delay. So just a little drier.
I got this girl, she's so mine, at least don't do my money right. She's all I ever
want to give them a little bit more body, but let's actually go to the bus here so that we have all vocals at once.
I got this girl, she's so mine, at least until my money runs dry. She's all I ever wanted, she's all I ever feel.
Let's try that.
I got this girl, she's so mine, at least until my money runs dry. She's all I ever wanted, she's all I
That should be good.
She's all I ever wanted, she's all I ever feared. Not exactly God's finest look, but she's a very likable girl. She's angelic to the eye, she's evil in disguise.
These toms are quite loud. They can also come down in volume just a touch there.
She's evil in disguise.
Yeah, maybe they can be a bit brighter actually. Probably not gonna happen on the telos one, so we have to go with oxygen. Beautiful. Just felt like they were not really cutting through, but also they were too loud, like at the same time, right? These two vocal lines have to come up. And then the chorus vocal feels great, but it does feel a little dry or something. So it kind of sticks out for some reason. So let's give it a little bit more of my classic Del verb.
She's all I want. Could I ever
Kind of make that chorus kind of sound more like an arena rock song almost, right? So
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before. She's all I
and I'm still not happy with the na 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 vocals here. They sound kind of ugly to me now. A little better. Yeah, I have to get a little bit technical with these here. There's just a kind of a weird kind of, I don't know, like edgy 2K happening here. That's a little more comfortable, I'd say. Okay, I want to bring down pretty much all of these chorus extra vocals just a touch. No, actually, I'm changing my mind. I want to bring down the lead vocal just a little bit and rely just a little bit more on that stereo vocal, this one.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before. She's all I fear.
And then keeping in mind that we still want this to be louder and bigger than the verse, so let's see if we're there.
Not exactly God's finest look, but she's a very likable girl. She's angelic too.
Yes, looks like we are.
She's all I want. Could I ever?
Alright, that's great. So we still have a chorus that sounds bigger than the verse, and I'm a little bit happier with the vocal balance now in the chorus as well. So I'd say right now is a good point to start some automation. After catching up with you guys, let us see. Here we go. Denise is asking, what frequency ranges should I sacrifice in backing vocals to not fight with lead vocals? Well, nothing really, except maybe top end, of course. Because I don't know if you were here just a couple minutes ago when I were mixing the backing vocals in the first place, but I usually have way less top end on the backing vocals so that it kind of shifts them a little bit further to the background. And then if you have the lead vocal that is super bright and therefore super upfront as well, you kind of get a nice, front to back imaging between the lead and the backing vocals. So it's usually top end that I sacrifice, and sometimes some lower mids as well. Like I don't want, if the backing vocals come in and they come in on the sides, right, and then there to be a bunch of low mid build-up. I really don't want that to happen. So that's another thing that I'm listening for. But yeah, other than that, it's just the top end, pretty much. All right, let's see. And yeah, absolutely this. Like Alessandro's saying, yeah, just listen, of course. Yes, using the ears. Absolutely. All right, awesome. Easy. You can dial the volume to every send you made on the tracks individually. Is this possible on Cubase? Yes and yes. Yes to both. Absolutely. Yeah, so every single synth gets their own little fader, right? So this one is way low, and then the channel where that synth is going to end up on has its own fader as well. I'm pretty sure Cubase works kind of similar when it comes to synths and everything, so should be no problem whatsoever. All right, cool. Let's get this song done, guys. Let's dive into automation now and really try to get even a bit more movement and excitement, etc., in this song here. Starting with kick. That's my favorite part to start with automation here. Here we go. So I'm just lowering them a little bit over here. Actually, oh, that's the wrong channel. I need this one. This is all kicks. And the toms can come down here just a touch as well. But then the first kick of the actual song needs to come up. And I'm thinking I want a little bit of an explosion there as well. Just maybe not that loud as the chorus, but I do want it here. Yeah, so less crash. Definitely that swell is what I'm missing here as well. Here we go. Yeah, so more swell. And maybe even create the after swell, I guess. So let's reverse it. And that gives us the chance to do this. That's kind of cool, so let's try that. Kind of like that, but maybe the after swell doesn't have to be that loud. Okay, back to kick. Don't need to change anything in the verses, just constantly going here. Easy, and then chorus. Just bringing it up in total just a little bit, and then the first one is going to come up even an extra dB there. So that the chorus kind of starts on like a big kind of, big kick. I love that, like punching the ones, I think is what it's called there. And then again over here, when we go into the second round, I'm just gonna get that first kick up by a dB here. That's pretty much it for the chorus. And this one I want that to be loud as well, so. Yeah, so that's like a big conclusion, right? So this is like the end of the chorus, this big kick drum hit over there. And then again, the first one for the verse, I want that to come up a little bit. Maybe not that much, just a little bit less. And we don't need to do anything else for the rest of the verse. I'm gonna copy over the automation for the chorus kicks Here we go. And I want that little triple to come up there.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? She confuses me.
Okay, then the bridge, I want this kick to be quite massive as well.
Confuses me.
Maybe even more than this. I really want that kind of play between the kick and then the toms, and then the kick and then the toms, right? So these snares are super low in volume suddenly. So you have massive toms, ka dun dun ka, and then the snares are way too low here. That's kind of boring, so let's bring these up. That could be just a MIDI. That's actually full velocity there, so we just have to automate those up. And now that I'm hearing it, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that immediately, right? So, yeah, even more. That's more like it, right? So, kind of a nice ending to that first bridge section.
I tried, but I couldn't find.
Okay, and now that we are here, suddenly I'm annoyed by the bridge vocal. And this is actually, it looks like as if I'm jumping all over the place, right? Which is definitely true, but this is usually what automation looks like for me. It's like I focus on one thing, suddenly something jumps out that I didn't notice before, and I tackled that immediately, right? Like while I hear that, I don't make a mental note of like, oh, I have to do that later or something. I just do it and then go back to whatever I was doing, right? Which in this case is the kick drum. But now this vocal line just stood out to me. It's like, yeah, it's too loud.
I tried.
I want that to be a little bit small on purpose again.
I tried, but I couldn't find.
It's totally cool. It's a little bit more intimate here. And again, if we make this section sound a little bit smaller on purpose, then the chorus that's going to follow after this is going to be twice as big in comparison, right? Simply that contrast is really what's needed for that. Okay, back to kicks. Maybe this one can come up just a little bit. The bass is actually doing something pretty cool here as well, so let's bring that up. Again, now that I notice it, right? That's more like it. Back to kicks. Now we got another chorus. So more copying. Just the same kick automation for chorus. Here we go. But now it's a double chorus, I think. So we have to copy it again over there. Yeah, now he's doing the double kicks here, so I don't really want to bring those up. I'm actually going to bring those down just a little bit. Pretty good. Maybe I want to bring them down even a bit more. Except for that ending finale right over here. Yeah, and then especially these last four. Let's see over here. Those a little louder. Here we go. That is really the big finale there, but cut it. You really want to emphasize that and just make that more energetic there. Okay, so that's our kick, pretty much done. Then we go to snare. that snare fill can actually come up just a little bit here.
I got this girl and she's all mine. At least until my money was right. She's all I ever wanted. She's all I ever feared. Not
I'm pretty happy with the snare level here.
able let this
Of course, I probably wanted to come up a little bit.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
Yeah, so not even a full dB, but it does make a difference, right? Because before I brought it up, it just felt like it sits a little bit too far to the background, so too far behind the vocal, and therefore it's not really playing its role. Like, it's the foundation of the mix, but yeah, if it's just too far to the background, it's not really doing that, right? So
She's all I want.
yeah, just brought it up not even a dB, but it makes a difference. So then we go verse.
I'd fight, I'm wrapped around the
Again, I'm cool with the level there. And then we have another chorus.
She's
I want that first hit to kind of come up there, the flam hit there. And the rest of the chorus can again come up by not even a full dB there. Yeah, and even that flam it, I'm bringing it up even more and more because it's just awesome, right? So that is a total of, what is it, -6 versus -2.8. So that's 4 dB louder, 3 dB louder actually. So okay, very cool. And then we have the bridge. The bridge can be a little bit more drums heavy, like in general, because there's a lot of toms happening as well over here. Yeah, totally cool if the snare comes up a little bit there as well. Same thing over here. There's probably something else that we can bring up here. Maybe some synthesizers. Probably that cool one, right? This one. That's pretty good. Then let's see, we go faster here. Still pretty happy with the snare level there. Another snare that I really want to have a lot louder here. Yes, that's better. And then our regular outro volume, or sorry, chorus volume. And I want to check that outro, the faster section here. And again, I want those last ones to come up. The ka 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 ka. Yes. And then the last one, the very last one, I want that to come up even a bit more. Even a bit more, I'd say. Yeah, it's really ending the song like ka 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 ka. More like that, right? That's really powerful there. And if we don't do that, like, notice the difference here. It's pretty crazy. Let's -4, -4, and now it's kind of just dull, boring. Like, it's okay. And now with the snare loud there, you can really almost feel the drummer just being happy of like, this is the song, right? The finale. Ka, ka. So hopefully that makes sense. That's a really cool detail there. Toms are pretty much okay throughout the song, I'd say. It's okay, maybe a little loud, but it's not too worrying. Let's check out what's happening here.
With your God, she confuses me.
A little bit too loud.
God, she confuses me.
More like it.
God, she confuses me.
The bridge, they can be loud here.
Me.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And then over here, totally fine as well.
This way before.
Bringing those down just a touch. That's all for toms. Okay, then cymbals. These are very, very, very important. I really like to have cymbals loud so that they bring a lot of energy without them kind of clashing with the vocals or whatever they can clash with. But the goal for cymbals is basically to see how far you can push them before they start getting annoying. So like that first hit here, that first crash really needs to come up there. Yeah, that's a nice crash there. I even want to bring up this crash here. Yeah, that's a way more explosive kind of start to the song, right? So hi-hat levels totally fine here. More crashes which are barely audible. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, it's like 2 crashes, both of them barely audible. Bring them up a lot.
Not exactly.
That first hi-hat, I want it to be normal volume again. So this section can come up still a bit more.
Not exactly.
Yeah, nice. So we finally hear the crashes now, and we don't have that hi-hat coming up super loud, right? So pretty good there.
Not exactly God's finest.
And then let's see here. Another crash that I want to come up there. Even more, please. We got some rides here. Probably want those up in volume as well. Yes, I do. And these ones as well, so. Okay, now we get to the chorus, which is the important part here. Okay, so we have a nice double crash here, which is the sample, but I also want to emphasize that double crash in the actual recording here. And just way more crashing. And then there's another accent crash right here in the middle, I think. Yes, okay, I want to have that loud as well. The hi-hat is already quite a bit louder, right, than the crashes is, so yeah, totally cool to keep these kind of down there. Maybe a little bit more, because it's kind of accent hits. Yeah, that's more like it. And then over here as well. Alright, then we can copy over the verse automation here to the second verse. Good question here from Arcane. I noticed that you hard automate instead of having a more human approach like you would get with a physical fader. Basically automating straight up on a certain point. Yep, exactly, man. I noticed there's literally no difference in that. In terms of like, you can't really even notice it. It's just, you can see it. So you think there's something happening, but since it's like right at the start of that sound, you don't even like kind of notice it. And your brain completely accepts it, right? Except for the visual part. So if you do this blindly and I play you 2 mixes blindly, one that is kind of building up and one is just like hard automation like I've been doing, $100 says you can't tell the difference there. because it's just physical things kind of messing you up, right? But yeah, you can't really hear it, man. Let's see. Yep, exactly. This is exactly the goal here. Yeah, just giving that extra punch, accent, kind of listening to each section of the song and see what exactly do I need to do here to get the most out of it. And that is another reason why I don't start my mix with just building a static balance or something, because I know that balance in a song is very much a living and a breathing organism that's constantly going to change. I mean, look at the automation line that we have, right? It's like it's constantly changing. This is just cymbals, but then we have toms and snares and kicks constantly changing. And so, yeah, that's really the approach here, right? Just judging per section what is the right balance here, right? So hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's see. How about sidechaining or unmasking for more consistency? What do you mean with sidechaining in this case? Like, what would I be sidechaining against what? I mean, I don't feel like there's a lot of masking happening. Let me rephrase. I don't think there's a lot of unwanted masking happening right now. So what is what would you like me to sidechain here? Yeah, I think I just answered this one, so that makes sense. Yeah. Yes, actually, I've noticed that writing a fader takes me 100 times as long, actually, because like I'll do, I don't know, like I'll just play through the chorus or whatever, and there's like one chorus, and it's like, dang it, I just wasn't high enough with my finger, and then start again. It's like, dang it, still didn't get it. Okay, again, and then no, still, and it's like I really hated that process. I just find it super tedious and annoying. And with the mouse, I tend to be super fast. So for me, it was a trade-off to, use the fader. And eventually I sold my fader port and all these things. And it just went back to the mouse. So for me, yes, absolutely. But the other way around. Yep. All right, let's continue. We got cymbals here. We got another break here where I want these crashes and these rides to come up. So let's just grab the entire section here. Perfect. Perfect rides. And then we can copy our chorus, which I think is this section. Pretty sure. Boom. There we go. Alrighty. And then we have bridge. Let's see what that needs cymbal-wise. It needs more, that's for sure. Crank them up. Plus 2.5 or so. This one needs to come up way more still. And probably this one, and this one, and this one as well. I don't even like this reversed symbol here anymore. Yeah, I think we can get rid of that and just replace it with a swell like we have in the intro here. Probably like this better. Yes, and then the crash suddenly becomes way more explosive as well, which is way better. That's good, that's good. I like that. This one can come down a touch because it's too much now. I tried, but couldn't find. This one needs to come up a bit. But couldn't find. There's another crash. Not that much. Here we go. Alright, let's see. Luan is actually answering here the sidechain question. So bass, guitar, snare, drum elements. But against what? What would I be sidechaining them against? Like, what are we trying to unmask here? I still don't really get your question here. let's see. Okay, I find that if I go track by track on top of physical automation, where you're automating, are you just selecting what parts need to come up, or do you just have a systematic approach? Well, hopefully, just watching me explains that a little bit. It's literally just deciding per section, per instrument, where I want that to be, volume-wise, right? So I still kind of like as I'm. Okay, let's go way back to the first live stream. I start with my kick and solo, basic processing, snare and solo, basic processing, overheads and solo, and then I level it out, and that's when I get my rough balance, I guess. And then from there, right now in this mix, now we're kind of making final decisions of like, okay, I want this crash to be louder, and I want the hi-hats here to come down, and I want the snare there to come up, right? And so we're kind of making those decisions here. And so the system is basically that I go track by track, yes, pretty much. But like I said a little bit earlier as well, as soon as something grabs my attention in a way that I feel like it stands out or it doesn't grab enough attention or something, I just jump back and forth, right? So right now we're working on cymbals, but let's say we go to the final chorus and I suddenly feel like, that synth is way too loud now. Then I immediately go down to the synth, fix that, and then we go back to the cymbals and finish that. Hopefully that makes sense. Yep. All right, let's check it out. All right, so Lewin is saying, I feel like it's a bit crowdy in the low mids and around 2 kilohertz. That's cool. We can take a look at that for sure. But I would say side chaining would be the absolute last thing that I would go for to solve that. I would probably just go for like, if low mids are crowdy, I would go like what instrument is causing that, and then just go with EQ onto that instrument and just, fix the problem right then and there without having to make it complicated, right? Usually just going for the most simple approach there. Same thing around the 2K. Let's say there's too much 2K in the guitars or something, and I just go to the guitars, get rid of the 2K there, and that usually solves the problem in a much simpler way. Anyway, let's continue. What are we doing? Cymbals here. Here we go. Alright, so just brought up the hi-hat a little bit in that bridge here. And I want that ending crash to come up a lot still, so. Okay, very cool. And then we have a chorus again, so we can copy the chorus automation at least as a starting point, because it's the big finale chorus, so we may have to make some adjustments here and maybe, push it even further or let it take a step back or something, depending on what we feel like. Here we go. Still pretty happy with the level there. Okay, now we have a section here where there's not really any vocals happening, at least for a little while. And we can totally have to crash up in that little section even a bit more, so that we still keep high energy there, right? There's actually more vocals here that we haven't touched yet, the confusing me ones, which are over here. There we go. So let's see what we need to do here. No, these are the ones. Here we go. Okay, I do like them. I just feel like they are a little bit too low mid-y. And then I would like to compress them a little bit more. Okay, look, this like first section is way less loud than this one, so I definitely want them compressed. Here we go. Maybe even the CLA to follow up with that. Yeah, that's better. I like that. That's really cool. Okay, cool. Go back to cymbals. Here we go. We actually finished cymbals just now, which is great. Awesome. All right, love that. Room mics, I think, are totally fine throughout the song. I don't always automate these. I think I don't feel the need to either push the room mics up in the verse or get them down or something here. I think they're pretty cool to keep them static as is. So let's move on. I don't need to automate this stuff. I just want that stuff to consistently hit hard pretty much everywhere, which is good. The bass synth is good. Bass guitar, let's see. Actually want just a little bit more mid-range on that bass here.
At least until my money was right. She's all I ever wanted. She's all I ever feared. Not exactly.
Because I feel like it just cuts through just a little bit easier, especially in the verse here. And then the chorus, we have to check whether we're still happy with that.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before. She's all I fear.
Yeah, pretty happy with bass there. Probably have that like big slide come up a little bit there. Yeah, it's just so cool. Probably same thing in the intro then though. Just get these slides up a little bit. Yes, maybe even more because they're so cool. Yeah, that's a cool intro there. Just have these bass slides way up. Very nice. All right, let's continue. We got verse. Totally fine there. Chorus is fine again. Let's check bridge. It's fine over here. Let's see. Same thing there. I'm happy with that. Already raised the volume a little bit in this section there. And then we have chorus again, which is totally fine. Now let's check the outro. Yeah, these last three don't really take up enough attention here. And then this can actually go. Here we go. So nice. I like that. All right, guitars. We already did something there.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before. She's all I.
Actually bringing them up a little bit in the chorus here. The lower rhythm guitars, that is.
She's all I want. Could I ever?
Still looking for a little bit more beef there. Okay, and then we have to probably get these up a little bit.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask for more? I never felt this way before.
That's more like it. Just a bit more wall of sound there, which is really cool. Hey, here we go. Good question. Still using an stance, boy? You know it. You know it. Absolutely, man. I'm afraid I have tried multiple times to get away from these. I don't know if you saw the YouTube video that I made about that on the Hardcore Music Studio channel. I've tried Ambience and Genelex, and I've tried them multiple times, and I'm still stuck with the N-Stance. At this point, I kind of just gave up, right? It's like, I'm never going to get away from these. I don't know, man. They just give me results, so why change a winning team, right? Guitars there are good. Let's see the second part here. I'm thinking actually there's that palm mute one on the right side here, right? Why don't we make that a little bit more lo-fi? So I'm just gonna go with Pro Q then and just EQ the right side only and just get rid of a bit of low end there. Maybe try that. Actually, maybe just make all of these guitars a little bit lo-fi. So yeah, let's just put them in stereo then. This one, oh, actually this one as well. So stereo, just get all of that a little bit smaller. Again, on purpose. Let's make this a little bit smaller on purpose so that the chorus is gonna hit bigger, right? In comparison here. Yeah, that's more like it. And then we just automate that so that it only comes on in this little section here up until there. All right. And I want them to come down just a touch in volume. Again, just making this section a little smaller on purpose so that the chorus, in comparison, right, sounds bigger. So. Right, happy with that. I think the clean guitars were all good. Let's check this one. This one can come up a little bit. Yeah, and I still think those can actually come up a little bit, both of them. So let's see if we got some volume here. All right, so 1 dB or something. That's already a bit too much. Alright, very cool. And then the other main thing that kind of disturbs me when the chorus comes in is that it still sounds a little bit too dry for some reason for my taste here. So let's drown these a little bit more in reverb as well.
She's all I want. Could I ever ask more? I've never felt this way before. She's all I fear. With a smile she seduces.
That's a little bit better already. So just a little bit more of the classic del verb on the stereo vocals there. Let's see what else. I don't think we need to automate anything else at this point because all the other things are pretty much already just things that don't always happen and that don't really have to change that much, except maybe the last chorus maybe. But even there, I'm pretty happy with what it's sounding like. Pretty happy with that outro as well. I think it's time for some referencing. I'm gonna pull up Spotify, but I'm not actually sure if you guys can hear the Spotify audio. So let's just try that. I'm just gonna lower the volume a little bit. Let me know if you guys can hear Spotify. So I'm just checking out A Day to Remember. Can you guys hear that? Can you drop it in the chat if you just got the Spotify audio? Obviously a nice delay here, so I'll just wait a little second there. Let's see, Peter's asking, did you master the original version as well? Yes, I did. I mixed and mastered this one myself. Yep. Oh, you guys got Spotify? Awesome. All right, so that was A Day to Remember. Just checking the low end, etc. Let's go back again there. Alright, let's check. We're pretty close, at least in the things that I'm listening for in terms of low mids is what I'm listening for most of the time. Let's try again here. There's one kind of annoying thing. Is it bass? Let me see here. Probably bass or bass synth. Maybe it's actually bass synth here. that spike there was just kind of bugging me on that one note there. Yeah, that's more solid. Alright, let me just put on some headphones here to actually get some low end going on. And let's see. We're actually pretty close. The bass synth has a little bit too much sub low end though. Let's turn off the analyzer. It's a little cleaner sounding this way. Yeah, we're actually pretty close in the low end. Pretty stoked with that. So I'm not gonna change too much on that, just on this mix here, because I feel like, yeah, we pretty much got that down in the good ballpark there. Very nice. I love that. This is also the only reference tracks I'm gonna need. There's another one here, which is called Wrath by The Ghost Inside, but the guitars there are doing a lot more palm muting, which is naturally gonna lead to a lot more low mid. So just quickly play this for you guys. This section here. This is just like massive palm mutes right there, right? So that's naturally gonna sound a little bit bigger than what we have here. But even then, I'm not unhappy with what we're getting here. So I think that would be a great place to kind of wrap this one up, guys. I'm at that point where I don't really have to kind of tweak anything anymore, right? We've got all the faders up, we got everything done here. The only thing that I have kept muted on purpose is this bass synth over here, this one, which is basically a sub synth here. It's solo, you can't even hear it, it's just a sine wave here. I literally can't hear it on the NS10s here. But that's just like following the sub notes in that pre-chorus, that little section right before the chorus. I kept that muted simply because, again, that contrast between smaller pre-chorus, massive chorus, I want to just, max out on that. And when I give that pre-chorus a lot of sub-low end, then it's going to be very challenging to get the chorus to sound bigger than that, right? At least that's my opinion there. So that's why I kept that one muted here, and I'm not going to touch that or use that at all. But that is pretty much all for this mixing live stream. Please, guys, if you have any more questions about anything, there's something that you don't quite get here, there's something you just want to take another look at, now is your chance. I'll just stay on for like a minute or two to, get all of your final questions in the chat answered. But after that, I think it's a great place here to wrap it up, and hopefully you guys have a great idea of what my process looks like right now, and how fast and how fast you can be, right? It's not about my speed here, because that, I don't care, but hopefully you guys can see that just like making those fast decisions, getting to that point in the mix where you have as much, clear context as you need to really make those final decisions. That is something that I value a lot, right? So those first 2 hours of live stream one is just getting to that place where today we can actually have final decisions about the levels, about some EQ stuff that we changed, even though we didn't change a lot, which is a great sign. We got to a good place on Tuesday, which was great. But sometimes that process can be a little bit more complicated, and you have to do a lot more tweaking once you sleep on it and once you find some objectivity back, all that stuff. Again, let's check out some questions, guys. And after these questions, we're going to wrap up, and then we're going to upload the replay for you guys. All right, let's see. Martin's saying, try Tidal, it streams high-end audio. Yeah, I don't even care. I don't mind, man. It's like Spotify is the industry standard. So, and it's for the reason of like, it's easier to find music there. I fully agree, man. Tidal sounds way better. But for referencing a quick mix against this, I'm not too worried about that, man. It's like, if my mix sounds like this, sounds just as good as one does on Spotify, I'm happy with that. I'm not too much of like a nerd of like, oh, I need high sample rates and I need full wave, yada yada yada. I don't know. This is not for me. So let's check out Aaron here saying, any tips for my overheads sounding too harsh? I tune down the highs and they lose power. Yes. My biggest tip for that would be, or best tip, would be to boost everything that is not harsh. All right, so let me just go back to Pro Tools real quick and show you what I mean by that. So let's see, the overheads are over here. And so on the Telos drums, I don't know if you were here on the first live stream, but as you can see, I'm boosting a lot more mid-range here than I'm boosting high, right? Because cymbals by themselves already have a lot of high frequencies just in the recording. Naturally, you don't even have to do anything. They are just there. And so a common mistake is that people still feel the need to boost a ton of top end. So because cymbals, they are supposed to be bright, right? Yes, but they already are usually. And so my thing is usually I'm boosting more mid-range to really get that body and that definition out there way more. Right? And so the top end boost is really just there of like a final polish, final little push, but it's way more about that mid-range and the drive here. That's going to kind of fill the sound field a little bit more. So yeah, more focus on everything that is not harshness, right? That is not the brightness. Hopefully that makes sense. Good question. Love that. Let's check it out. We got Peter here. Let's see. Try to schedule soldiers for now frequencies. That used to be my go-to thing as well, and it's very rare that I do that nowadays because I find that offensive way of mixing, just boosting more, that to me works better than just, finding all the sound that you don't like and kind of cutting that out, and then in the hopes that you're going to end up with something that you do like. I'm like, what if I just force it to become something I do like? In this case, with cymbals, that just means adding more body and adding more mid-range, right? So generally speaking, it's a great tip, though, because there will be the occasional thing where there's a harsh frequency jumping out, for sure. But yeah, it's not my go-to approach anymore. Let's see here. In your process, do you shoot for like a -6 dB on the master bus to prep for mastering? When I'm outsourcing the mastering, I just make sure that it doesn't clip and I send it off. That's all. And I think we should all be less worried about numbers, man. That's really the thing. I don't care if it's -6 or -8 or -10 or -12. I know the mastering engineer is gonna do whatever is required so that his analog gear, if he has anything, that it's gonna hit the analog gear at like a sweet spot. So he might have to lower the gain anyway, or he might have to raise the gain before doing that. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm just gonna send something that doesn't clip and gives him all the headroom that he needs to do his processing and make it loud, and everybody happy. That's all I worried about. The numbers, man, I truly don't care. Really don't care. Do you still use ANA 2 or prefer Serum 2? It's nowadays it's Serum. But it's one of those things that will probably change over time a little bit, where you just, get tired of using the same sounds for so long. So for now, I'm just kind of, I don't know, just burned out with the ANA 2, and now I like the Serum stuff. But the other day, I opened a mix where I was using the ANA 2, the Flames preset, and I kind of liked that again. So I don't know, maybe I go back. But for now, I'm happy with the Serum one. Again, Vern Prep for Master. Hopefully, I answered that just now. All right, awesome. Love that you guys are digging this. Love it. All right, signing off, man. Good to see you, Frank. See you soon. Awesome. Looks like you guys don't have any more questions. Just happy to see that you guys dug this. Was really happy to do this for you guys. All right, let's see. I received main event. That sounds really. Okay, let's check out this one. Mike, I received main and harmony vocals that sound very harsh, probably from using a harmonizer. Any suggestions on how to de-harsh them? Probably pretty much the same, man, as with the overheads. Just boosting everything that is not harsh. As you could see me do here. Let's go back to Pro Tools. Get rid of this one. The vocals here, so for example, I started that vocal EQ with maxing out that 8K high shelf, right? Which I'm literally forcing this vocal to be harsh now because this was all still at 0. But then I'm doing pretty big boosts here in the mid-range, so 1.5 and what is it, 4K or something, to kind of compensate for that. So I'm boosting everything that is not harsh in order to prevent my vocal from sounding harsh. And then I even doubled down on that on the chorus vocal here by boosting even more mid-range in order to prevent it from being harsh. So try to boost everything that is not harsh and try to find the balance that way. And then last resort, if you still have problems at that point, then I will do like a surgical cut somewhere here of like, there's still too much 10K or something. But that's the last resort. I usually try to boost mid-range first, try to emphasize all these sounds that are not harsh. And then, again, last resort, take it out. All right, let's see. No. This is a great question, though. Do you listen to reference mixes before mixing? Not really, no. No, I don't see the use in that because the when I open the session, it will sound nothing close to a reference track just yet, right? And so I really first try to get all these starting points, things dialed in ASAP, as fast as I can to get as much context, get all the faders up, get some processing on pretty much every single track. So that I have the full mixed song pretty much there, and then the reference song becomes valuable, right? Because then we're pretty close to each other, and then I can finally decide of like, oh, I'm still too light on the low end or something. But when I have a completely unmixed track, of course I'm not gonna have the low end because I haven't started yet, right? So yeah, no, referencing is only at the end for me. How can you define difference between master and mixing? Mixing is all these little things that we're doing here. So it's a micro level thing. So the compressor and the EQ on a vocal, the level setting for this little synth line here, all that volume automation stuff, all these little micro things is mixing. And then mastering is very much a macro thing. Like it's only like at the final 2 bus on the master fader pretty much where you're gonna maybe do a little touch of final EQ. Maybe there's one harsh little frequency somewhere. Maybe there needs to be a little bit more low end in general. Something along those lines. That is mastering. It's very much a macro level thing. But the micro stuff, all that small stuff, all the individual channels, all these things, that is all mixing. All right, let's see. Cool. Yeah, probably for sure. Yep, he probably uses a DAW like Pro Tools or anything like that where he can just apply plugins and processing and route it to his analog gear or something. So yeah, absolutely. Most likely. All right, looks like no more questions. Awesome, love that. Thank you all guys for hanging out with me for these, 5 hours pretty much? Yeah, it looks like 2 hours and 20 minutes again today. So that seems to be great. Very stoked. We're going to probably be doing this more often as soon as we release the Telos bass plugin, and as the Telos vocal plugin is in development as well. So we're definitely going to be showcasing all of these new plugins in streams like this as well. Love that. Keep an eye out for that. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to be notified whenever we do go live again. I'm wishing you all a great day or whatever time of day it is for you guys. We'll see each other soon. Have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.